Hi, I'm Steve Burgess, hypnotherapist and founder of Hypno for All. Welcome to this short video about using hypnotherapy to treat IBS. There are actually two ways of treating IBS with hypnotherapy. The first way is the methods that we're using here on Hypno for All, which is to use hypnotic suggestions and visualizations to affect changes within your body. The second way is to work on the emotional causes of IBS in regression. I'm going to talk to you more about that at the end of this recording. The assumption is that you've already made whatever changes need to be made in terms of your diet, because obviously many foods can trigger IBS. You perhaps looked at other ways of treating IBS, maybe with kinesiology, acupuncture, reflexology, etc. And also remembering to reduce caffeine, because caffeine is a stress-inducing substance, which means as soon as you put caffeine into your body goes into stress. And of course, if you have IBS, you already have a stressed body. I had a colleague, a hypnotherapy colleague, who had severe IBS. His doctor told him to cut out coffee, and he did so, and his IBS was completely cured. So it's always worth thinking about reducing, I would suggest really cutting out caffeine in whatever form if you're taking caffeine into your system. So the assumption is that you've made changes, dietary changes, you've looked at candida, you've perhaps even looked at parasites in the body as a means of reducing or healing your IBS. If you've done all that and still you have the problem, then this is maybe where the hypnotherapy comes in. What is hypnosis? Hypnosis, quite simply, is a state of relaxation. We call it trance, and trance is perfectly natural. It's something we all go into every day, at least 24 times a day. When we daydream, excuse me, when we drift off into a more relaxed state, when we are driving in the car on automatic pilot. These are trance experiences. So trance or hypnosis is totally natural. In the hypnotherapy setting, we tend to be emphasizing the relaxational element. Hypnosis is not sleep, and in fact, if you're playing these recordings on Hypno for All and you keep falling asleep, then you're not getting the benefits of them. In which case, I would suggest you play the recordings earlier in the day, or you sit up and play them. Because obviously, if you're laying back and play them later in the day, there's more of a chance of falling asleep. There are different depths of trance, from light trance to deep trance. Hypnosis is a little bit like moving down a stairway, if you like. At the top of the stairs, you're wide awake, and at the bottom of the stairs, you're fast asleep. And hypnosis is in the middle, trance is in the middle. So we find there's a light trance, medium trance, deep trance, and then people can go even deeper and fall asleep. Doesn't matter which state of trance you're in. In fact, as you play the recordings, you may find each time you're in a different state. Sometimes you're in a lighter trance than at others. But the most important thing is just taking the time just to close your eyelids, rest back, and allow your subconscious mind to start doing some work for you to help with the IBS. Hypnosis being natural means that nothing weird happens when you're doing it. You'll still be able to hear sounds and noises. You can still react to things happening outside if necessary. If there's an emergency in some way, you'll be able to just come straight out of trance and just do whatever you need to do. So your conscious mind will still be thinking and ticking away too. The aim to start with the recordings in this Hypno for All process, is initially to start to get you used to calming your system down. So there are actually 7 recordings in this IBS program. 4 of them are actually categorized as IBS 1, 2, 3, and 4. But there are 3 recordings which I would ask you to play before you get into the 4 IBS named recordings. And the reason is because this is an overall package. Initially, with the first recording, which is Hypnosis for Total Relaxation, the aim of that is to get you used to relaxing, get you used to calming your system down. Remember, an IBS body is a stressed body. Anything we can do to calm your energy field down is useful. So the first process is to play Hypnosis for Total Relaxation as the first recording. The second recording in this protocol is the Strength and Self-Confidence recording. And this is full of suggestions about becoming more calm and more confident in yourself. The third recording is about letting go of past hurts, and this is done in a beautifully imaginative way with a lot of metaphors, where you imagine letting go of stuff in the past that's bothered you. So those are the first three recordings, which are aimed to just get you into the mind frame. And then the next four recordings are IBS 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're into the process of what we call gut-directed therapy, which is to start to focus the mind into healing the gut, into helping your body either to slow down or to speed up the process of peristalsis, etc. What I would suggest, now there are two ways of listening to these 7 recordings, and by the way, one of the most important things is to play the recordings regularly. You're not going to get very much of a benefit if you only listen to one recording once a week. That is just not enough. Please remember that the subconscious is influenced by repetition. So, okay, playing a recording once a week, you may get some benefit. But in order to achieve long-lasting benefit, you really have to play the recordings regularly. Now, what I'm suggesting here is at least every other day for many weeks, because there are 7 recordings. One way of playing is to play recording number 1, Hypnosis for Total Relaxation, every day or every other day for 3 weeks before you go on to the second recording for 3 weeks and then the third recording for 3 weeks, etc., etc. So that's one way of playing. You play each recording for 3 weeks before you go on to the next one. Problem with that is it can be a bit boring hearing the same recording day after day. So the other way to do the program is to play one recording after another, day after day after day, and just to keep varying those for week after week after week. So you play all the 7 recordings every day or every other day, and you then go back to recording 1, recording 2, etc. That tends to mean that you're not quite getting so bored with hearing the same thing all the time. But I cannot emphasize enough the importance of playing the recordings regularly. At least every other day, play a recording. And the ideal would be every day of the week. That would be wonderful. Most of the recordings contain visualizations. And the power of the subconscious using visualizations is very well known. However, some people find it difficult to visualize too clearly. What I would suggest is, if you're not very visual, is just do your best with the visualizations. Try to get feelings in. For example, if you're imagining yourself, as we do at the end of the process, in a crystal cave, imagine how that would be feeling. So even if you don't get the pictures too clearly, allow your what we call the kinesthetics to come in. Maybe hear sounds in these experiences. And what I would suggest is, if you are completely non-visual, if you're somebody who, unfortunately, like me, finds it incredibly difficult to visualize, then it may be that this process isn't for you in terms of the visualizations. But number 2 in the system, the Strength and Self-Confidence, has very little visualization in there. So you might want to concentrate on that. and also play the autogenics recording, which is here on Hypno for All. It's not part of the 7 system recordings for IBS, but autogenics is a wonderful system for relaxing the body using the mind by using suggestions and affirmations. So if you're very non-visual, then it may be frustrating to play the visualisations recordings, but I would suggest focus on the strength and self-confidence and on autogenics instead. And when you're doing the recordings, when you're doing the visualizations, be as creative as you possibly can and make the visualizations as positive as you can possibly make them. Regularly, I'll be asking you to look ahead and imagine yourself completely well, as though the IBS is a thing of the past. And do this even if you're thinking, well, this may not happen for me. Do it anyway. Imagine if a miracle were to occur and you were completely free of the IBS. How would you be feeling and how would your life be? Do your best to run that as a movie in your mind. And see it as often as you can. Certainly with at least 2 of the recordings, I'll be asking you to do what we call anchoring. Now, anchoring is an NLP technique, neuro-linguistic programming. And with anchoring, what we're doing is I'm asking you to imagine some good feelings in your body. And as you get those good feelings, to hold a thumb and finger together or to squeeze them together very gently. And this we call an anchor. So all the time that you're feeling the good feelings in your body, you're holding the thumb and finger together. And then after a little while of anchoring the nice feelings, I will then ask you on the recordings to open the anchor, to open the thumb and finger. Now, what this means is that at any stage later on, when you're not playing a recording, if you want to recreate this nice feeling in your body, just fire the anchor. You just hold the thumb and finger together. And this can be done any time. So this is not about being in trance and firing the anchor. It's about just on a day-to-day basis. You might be driving in the car and start to feel a bit of discomfort. Squeeze the thumb and finger together, and your body will automatically soften. It will reconnect with the feelings of calmness or ease or lightness that you've experienced in the trance sessions with the recordings. So anchoring is very powerful, and it means that at any time, any place, you can just take control of any discomfort by just squeezing the thumb and finger together. Your subconscious mind will say, that means feeling good. When you squeeze the thumb and finger together, the subconscious will say, oh, we must be feeling good now because we're connecting the thumb and finger together. So that's a little bit about the overall Hypno for All IBS protocol. If you are playing these recordings regularly, and actually at the end of that process there's no benefit or little benefit, then what I would suggest is you really need to think in terms of working on the emotional causes of the IBS. There is a school of thought which I do subscribe to after 30 years as a hypnotherapist, working with physical issues very often using hypnosis, that all illness, all physical illness has emotional causes. And in regression, what we're doing is we're working back into the past to release the negative emotions which are locked in the body, which are causing the physical problems. It isn't a fun process because it does mean to go back into negative things which we're holding on to, but it is also a liberating process because it frees you up from carrying emotional baggage for the rest of your life. That obviously has to be done on an individual basis. We can't do recordings of that. It has to be done safely in therapy sessions. And if you're interested in regression, in order to work at a deeper level on the IBS, then just contact me, go onto my website, lionheart-training.com, and send me a message or send me an email at lionheartwebinars@gmail.com, and I can tell you more about how we work in regression and do one-to-one sessions with you. So hopefully that's been helpful. I do truly and sincerely hope that you get some benefit from this system, this IBS system. And I'll be very happy to hear from you about your process, about your progress, and about your success by using the system. And good luck, and please take my best wishes with you in your healing process. Thanks for listening.